tell you how to be able to get it for yourself. And you all are now connected to us at Cyrus Webb Presents on Amazon Live. Glad you all could be with us as well. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, and we also welcome those tuning in on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, as well as on YouTube today. Have an exciting guest that's returning with us today. Dr. Teresa A. Smith is back with us. You guys can see on the Amazon Live side, you can see her 3 books that she has that are available there. Her very first book is called Stronger. I'm actually going to be referring to that a little bit later. After that, she released her book you guys see there in the carousel, From Bravery to Victory. But now she has her brand new book that's out called Transformation. If you guys do not have any of these books, we're going to let you guys know how to be able to get them. But Taz, how are you?
I'm great, Cyrus. How are you?
Doing really well. Taz, I want to make sure before we get too into this, because I know this is going to be good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You are perfect. You are perfect. I just like to make sure before we get too into it. And you say, Cyrus, I didn't hear a thing you said. Hey, because anything can happen. I want to say for those joining us on the Amazon Live side, welcome to you. You guys will notice a couple of things you guys can do to engage with us. One, there's a follow button either here in this corner or below us. Make sure you guys click that follow button to be able to stay connected with all of our great programming here on Amazon Live. Also, you'll notice down below, I mentioned Dr. Taz's books. You guys can be able to see all 3 of them there. You can be able to get them there while we're having the conversation. It won't take you away from us. But also, we want you to engage with us in the chat as well. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to be able to drop those in. So, Taz, I want to talk about this. I didn't realize until I was prepping today's show, because I always say, you know what? I don't want every show to be like the last show. So
Mhm.
I didn't realize until I was prepping for this one, it has been now 5 years since you
Mhm.
first released Stronger in 2017. I want to talk to you about that journey. What has that been like for you to see who you become in those 5 years?
Yes, Cyrus. It's really it's humbling and it's sort of frightening because stronger, like you said, it was 5 years ago, and for me, it was like birthing a child because I don't have kids, and so it
Mhm.
was a labor of love. It was intense, getting my story out there, and now we're here at Transformation to look back on 5 years and realize that the person that I was 5 years ago, I'm not that person anymore.
Mm.
She has some great qualities about her, probably some things that need to be worked on, things I need to work on now, perhaps even still. But I've really grown.
Yeah.
But I think that having Stronger out there was the platform, it was the foundation that I needed to actually become who I'm still becoming now. And
Mm.
so for me, just to think back that it was just 5 years ago, and it almost seems like it was a century,
I
you
get
know?
that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I get that. So the reason why I brought up Stronger, because there's something you actually say in the beginning of Stronger. I'm going to read here in just a bit, Taz. But I think it goes to an interesting thing about how people see us and
Mhm.
how we see ourselves. Because you begin Stronger by saying, if you didn't know, you were reading about me and
Yeah.
you found out the things that I had been through, it would probably be frightening to you, surprising to you. What is that like for you as a person who went through it, Todd, to look back on what you have been able to
Mhm.
survive and what showed that you were stronger?
Wow. Cyrus, you always ask the hardest questions. I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. Uh, I will say that someone said to me very recently, basically they quoted what you just said, but they said it slightly differently because they've read the
Mm,
book and they said they just can't believe that I've gone through all of those things because
mm,
it's just sort of unbelievable and that I am as grounded as I am. And so I think for me, when I look back over those 5 years and everything that's happened, um, I'm just grateful
yeah.
because I realized it didn't have to turn out the way that it has turned out. There are many other avenues that I could have taken, but
Mm,
God kept me. And
yeah.
so I believe that He kept me so that I could be a beacon, I could be an example for others who may be going through just something totally different or similar things that their circumstances don't define who they have to be in their life. And so for me, it's like picking up a cross and
Hmm.
having to carry it because it is a responsibility because he brought me out. So now I have a responsibility to reach back and bring the next person forward. So that's the reason I said I'm just grateful that he
Yeah.
saw fit to help me to find my way.
Yeah. I have the print edition, of course, Taz, of the first book. I'm going to be referring to the Kindle edition today. The Kindle edition is on sale for $4.99. They're on Amazon. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it there. I'm also doing it for another reason. Amazon has this Kindle that I'm having right here on sale right now for
Well,
$54.99. I want to be able to let people know about both things. You
deal.
can get the Kindle for less than $60. We can
Deal.
also get Dr. Taz's book as well while you're over there for $4.99. And so I want to read what I was referring to earlier because I think this is an interesting thing as we talk about transformation. You say this in the book, in just in the very beginning, in the introduction. My story is one of determination and resolve. Resolve, in my case, is more like defiance. This kind of determination is your willingness to defy the outside forces that could dramatically alter the direction of your life. Which brings me to the second principle that should leap off the pages and confront you. Opinion should never define you.
Define me.
So I want to talk about that. Hey to you, Tamika. Appreciate you joining us live. I want to talk about that because there are so many people, Todd, as you know, who are defined by the opinions of others, right? When did that epiphany hit you that opinions do not have to define you?
Cyrus, if I'm honest, it hit me as a young child. I grew up in a very small rural town in North Carolina, and I used to say it was Peyton Place, and I said, and some people don't even know what I mean by Peyton Place, but that was a movie, and I saw it when I was a little. Well, I heard my mother talking about it. I didn't really see it because it wasn't something that I should see. But think of Peyton Place as being like Ambition,
Mm,
any of the Tyler Perry movies or shows, anything like that. So everybody knows everybody, and so many different things happen. But I remember my neighbor said to me once, and I was telling her something that had happened. She's like, "Oh, and so you believe that?" And it kind of took me back, because an adult had said it. I just happened to be passing along as a
mm,
child, not even understanding what I was doing. And she was like, "You believe that?" And so that was a wake up call for me because it said that you have to really determine whether or not you're going to believe what people are saying. Now, it
yeah,
wasn't an opinion. I was thought I was sharing fact, but it just resonated to me that people typecast you based upon their view of who you are. And so from that time on, I became very aware of that. And so it really impacted my relationships because I was determined to be my own person, given
mm,
who I was, and I was not going to conform to what other people expected of me. Now, I will say it's gotten me in trouble, but that's just when
mm.
it started, when I was a young girl.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I think it gets all of us in trouble
Yes, yes,
for sure. Dennis, hello to you. Dennis says, I love the fact that you highlighted God in the process of your becoming stronger. And I think that is the other thing. You also say in the introduction something that people will ask as they kind of look at themselves. You say this regardless of your place in life, whether you fit into one or more of the pain categories I've mentioned, and you had mentioned some earlier, or whether you do not. My story designed to help walk you through the changing seasons of your life and help you come out on the other side much better than you were at the beginning of the journey. And I think that's a direct connection to your latest book,
yeah,
Taj, which
yeah.
is Transformation. There it
Transformation.
is. So let's talk about that because do you look at now what you have been through and what you've overcome as the mechanism that has helped you to be able to now help other people do the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. As we were just finishing up our series last week, and I'm sure I mentioned it, someone said that this is a lot of hard work. Well, I've
Mhm.
always been working on myself. Now, some folks may say that I haven't, but I really have. And what
Mm,
I've learned is kind of going back to the opinions thing. People have one idea or opinion of who you are. And once you shift either left or right, that's when issues begin to happen. But really what I've come to understand with that is they never knew you. They
mm,
knew who they wanted you to be. And when you take back your control and you let them see who you are, well then you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, having gone through that in many different arenas of my life, I'm kind of accustomed to it. Now, do I like it? No. I mean, you don't want to keep doing something or having something happen, but I also realize that I'm not conforming,
Yeah.
and when I don't conform, I get in trouble. So for me, when it comes to helping people to evolve or transform, yeah, I get it. Have I experienced everything that someone else experienced? No, but I do know the pain, the sting that comes with trying to move from one place in life to another place when you've got something trying to hold you back and you want to be better
Yeah.
in whatever avenue of your life. You want to be better, but whatever's holding you back wants you to stay where you are, because let's be real, wherever I'm at, I'm meeting somebody else's needs,
Mhm.
but am I meeting my need? And when you
Right.
transform, you have to understand that it is important for you to meet God's need, first of all. Then you have to meet your need. We hear it all the time, the example of put your own mask on before you put someone else's mask on if you're on a plane. Well, it's the same thing. And I understand that that's frightening because it's not an easy thing to do. It's like walking out on faith. But we have
Yeah.
to get to a place where we can do that.
Such a great point. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, you all are watching Cyrus Ware Presents. Today we're welcoming back Dr. Teresa A. Smith or Dr. TAS. You guys can be able to connect with her. We're going to remind you of that a little bit later. But Dr. TAS is the author of 3 books. One is Stronger. I just was sharing with you here on my tablet. Another one that I have on my tablet I'm going to hold up that we have not talked a whole lot about on this program is From Bravery to Victory. You all can see it there. But her third book is this one. It's called Transformation. We're going to be getting more to that a little bit later, but I wanted to use these as building blocks, Dr. TAS. So let's talk about From Bravery to Victory, because in this book, as in Stronger, as well as in your book, Transformation, your faith definitely comes out. In fact, in chapter 1, it's called Out of the Darkness. And again, you and I have not talked about this book
Mhm.
on any of our own air conversations before, but you begin with an interesting scripture there, Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. How has that assurance, Taz, helped you as you have gone through your own transformation?
You know, um, Believing in God or a higher power, you have to have, I don't want to use the word faith, because we need faith, but faith is not something that we can touch either. It's not tangible.
Mm,
So for me, that scripture and other scriptures are something that's tangible, because I read the Bible, and for me, when I read the stories that are in the Bible, I understand that I can equate them to modern day. So when I
mhm,
read something like that scripture, it gives me hope. It lets me know that I can be sustained because he is there with me. He's not going to leave me.
mm,
And so for me, it's like penicillin.
mm.
And people probably don't get much penicillin nowadays. They give you all these other things. But to me, it's
Yeah.
like penicillin. And I get what I need and I'm able to continue to go forward.
Yeah. Another scripture that you mentioned in From Bravery to Victory, and I have it highlighted right now on the Amazon Live side. You can get the Kindle edition. It's only the Kindle edition for $3.99. But there, you also mentioned another scripture. It's actually one of my favorite ones, Taz, and that is Luke chapter 11, verses 9 and 10. I want to read this and then what you say about it there in From Bravery to Victory. And I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be open unto you. For everyone that asks receives, and he that seeks finds, and to him that knocks it shall be open. You then say this scripture revolutionized my thought process and increased my faith in God. I became fascinated by this scripture, reading both Matthew and Luke's account, trying to understand how to get the door open so I could find what might soothe my aching heart. Now, that's a powerful scripture, because it does say all you have to do basically is put forth the effort. How did that scripture, you say it revolutionized you and your thought process? Why is that true?
When I discovered that scripture, you give me emotional, Cyrus. Um, I was going through a time in my life where I was still trying to make sense of what happened to me. as far as the incest and just lots of different things, and trying to figure out who I was. And so, I've been praying, I'm going to church, all those different things, but I just did not feel like I was making progress. And at that point, I was
Mhm.
still in the phase of asking God why.
Mhm.
I was asking him why. And when you ask a question, you expect an answer. And
Right.
so when I found that scripture, it just soothed me because I'm gonna knock, the door is gonna open, I'm gonna seek, and I'm gonna find. And that's exactly what happened. Now,
Mhm.
the thing that we have to understand as human beings is every time we knock, the door is open, but it's not open in our sense of time.
Yeah.
God's sense of time is endless. So, what are you saying, Taz? I can ask him for something right now. He has already dispatched it from heaven, but I may not get it until February of 2023, 24, 25. But sometimes things happen just like that and you get it very quickly. But if you
Right.
stop and think about it, we've been praying about a lot of different things for many, many years. And so when you pray about it, and then it's like, oh, it's there, but was that part of something else that you've been
Mhm.
praying about? And so that particular scripture really soothed me and it gave me what I needed to continue to go on until he gave me what I've been asking for. And when he gave it to me, I wasn't expecting it. And so then it was like, oh my God, what do I do now? But it took some time for me to get it, but I got it. And so that scripture, just think of it as a life jacket.
Mm.
It just kept me safe. And so I love it. Just love
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that. And again, you and I have not talked about this
Mhm.
book like this before, but I think this book is so much about faith, including the final passage I want to mention from chapter 6, God My Everything. You say this, and this is something that I have also talked about publicly, but you write about it in your book, From Bravery to Victory. One of the personal challenges I have been intentional about is sharing my accomplishments. I believe the reluctance to share personal milestones publicly is a remnant of the sexual abuse and family socialization issues in my life. God used a pastor to help me understand sharing my accomplishments was not braggadocious, but an honest declaration how God was restoring the inner person within me and a testament to being a recipient of his rewards for working and remaining faithful. I want to talk about that because someone else needs to hear this, Taz, because there are some people who, and I've struggled with this. I've talked about it on different broadcasts before. Some people call it the imposter syndrome. Some people, when they feel like, you know what, well, everything's not going right for everyone, so maybe I shouldn't talk about what's happening with me, instead of realizing that could be encouraging for someone
Mhm.
else. What was it like for you to understand the importance of sharing not only what you had done, but also how you had done it?
Sarah, so, as you tell me, I'm not short-winded, but I got to say this because I see connections. The pastor who helped me to understand that, she talked to me and then like 5 hours later, she died.
Oh wow.
And it's, yeah, yeah. And so, and I said to her before I got the phone with her, I said, I got it now. Well, I just put together this little clip about my new show that's coming out, and I do a little voiceover,
Mhm.
and it's only one picture that I'm standing with somebody, and it's that woman
Mhm.
because she said to me that night, she said, "You're gonna have a show," and I said, she's like, I don't know if I've told you this," she said, "but I'm gonna tell you again, you're gonna have a show," and I
Mhm.
said, "Blah blah 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 blah," and she's like, "No, you need to understand that." And that's when she helped me to understand the importance of the sharing what you have. And what the way I gave it back to her was this. I get it now about the tithe. I mean about the talent. The one person who buried the talent, that was a gift. That was a gift. And they put it away. And I said to her that night, I said, it's like this. You give me a watch and I say I love it. But I don't wear it. I leave it in the drawer because I don't want the watch to be hurt. I don't want to damage it. But by
Mhm.
me bearing it, I do not then honor you. I do not honor the gift that God has given me. And so, yes, I'm still a work in progress with that, but she helped me to understand that it is so important because it's not about me, it's about what he's going to do through me. But if I don't want to talk about it, if I don't want to share, then I am circumventing somebody else's blessing, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
we are here to bless other people. And so it's a struggle. But this week I was reminded you have to do it. You got to get out of that old way of operating because you're preventing someone else from getting their blessing because their blessing may flow through you, but you don't want to share something. You got to share it. And,
Right.
so yeah. Um, yes, Cyrus. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I get that. I get it, and I think that is going to be of help for other people, which is a perfect segue then to the final part of our segment here, Todd. Finally, and I don't know why it's
Transformation.
looking funny in my in my side.
Yeah,
It's
it
I
look a
don't know
little,
if it's the lighting.
oh, it looks better in mine. Does it look better in
Yeah,
mine?
yeah, yeah. There you It's transformation. I'm highlighting it right now for you guys on the Amazon side. It is available in print for $8.99 there, you guys can see, or you can get the Kindle edition for $2.99. So you begin transformation with the very first message. Now, for those who don't know, you missed our series. Taz mentioned it. She's going to share her YouTube a little bit later. You guys can watch the series there. But the very first message, there are 10 messages in the book. And the very first one says very easily that change is challenging. So I want to talk about what led you to the writing of Transformation, Ties.
Cyrus, I'll tell you, I wrote Stronger, and then I did From Bravery to Victory. And to me,
Mm-hmm.
From Bravery to Victory is really like a precursor. So
Mm-hmm.
Stronger, even though I didn't write them in that order. So then we've got Stronger, and then it's like, okay, you're stronger, but how do you get stronger? You have to transform. And even though Stronger has some, questions and things in there, I wanted something that would be more like I'm an educator.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I'm not going to say that where it's going to put people off. It's only 10 messages. I wanted people to be able to answer some questions,
Yeah.
simple questions, but they're simple questions, but they're questions about you. And so I'm always asking myself and evaluating myself. And so I realized that, I do it all the time. So why not help other people? Because when I'm coaching someone, I give them homework. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, why write something that doesn't incorporate the next step? Because we read a lot of information, but then how do I apply it? And so that's the reason I came out with transformation. I kept it small because they do have to do the work because I'm
Yeah.
still doing the work on myself.
So I want to talk about that. And Dennis says we're here to bless others. Dennis, that is so true.
Yes.
And I think that is the thing about this. So I want to talk about that part because when you and I were going through the 10 messages, I think a lot of people don't realize ties, which as we reflect on, and it's funny us mentioning that word because part of what I should say this too, for those who have not gotten transformation, is basically your three components to it. There is the
Mhm.
message, then there is a gleam recap, and then there's a reflect and connect that you're supposed to go through. And that's the questions that Taz was mentioning. But the fact that transformation is not an ending,
Mhm.
I think that is what throws people off. But I
Yeah.
was thinking about something earlier today, Taz. I was watching a fitness trainer that I've been following for years. And he was talking about for him to stay in the
Yes.
shape that he's in is something he has to work on every day.
Mhm.
It's not that he got to a place and said, okay, I
Mhm.
don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know what? It's funny that we realize that when it comes to our bodies,
Mhm.
but not necessarily with our lives. So I want to ask you, did you always know that the transformation was not going to stop?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Um, yes. Um, as a little girl, I got really fascinated with the term metamorphosis
Hmm.
because, I'm a Marvel's DC girl. So, metamorphosis, when I first heard it, we're talking the Incredible Hulk.
Hmm.
Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno. It's a metamorphosis that occurs when David Banner becomes the Incredible Hulk.
Hmm.
Well, it's a metamorphosis means change. It's a continual thing. And for me, because at that point I was still wrestling with incest and trying to figure out what was going on, I knew that I needed to change. And I knew that it wouldn't just be, oh, you change and that's it. It's a
Yeah.
continual thing because think about it this way. And we'll use your example with exercise. When we exercise and we get fit, it impacts every part of our body, our cells, everything. So therefore, we're constantly changing. And if you go at the health analogy, we're regenerating ourselves.
Mhm.
So therefore, why would we not have to constantly work on our spiritual self, our physical, mental? We would have to work on all of that. It's a
Right.
continual thing because life is continual. We're continuing to experience life. So yes, it has to be continual because otherwise you get to a place and you think that you're good, and then something happens and you don't know how to deal with it because you thought you were good. So yes,
Yeah.
continual.
Yeah. So, as people are finding out about the other books, because we've spent a lot of time over the past almost 6 months now, Toz,
Yeah.
talking about transformation. What do you want them to know about what all three books can do for them? Because on the Amazon Live side, they're seeing all three of them there. Where there's a link for those who are not joining us on the Amazon Live side, invite you guys to head over there so you can be able to get all three of the books there. And again, the books Transformation as well as Stronger available in print and Kindle. From Bravery to Victory, it's only available in Kindle, but the other ones are available in Kindle as well. What do you want them to know not only about you and your journey, but also how your journey can help them on their journey?
Well, first of all, I like to say that I'm a real person. I have flaws just like everyone else. You know, you catch me on the wrong day, you're gonna get my temper because it's there. Believe you me, it's rose this week. It's there. But what I would want them to see through the three books, because I am real, is that you can knock and the door can open. And my hope is that these three books will open the door to possibilities for someone else. Sometimes we get very despondent in life because I can be despondent too because I'm a human being.
Right.
Um, and but I have to have something else that I can reach out to and understand that things can change. So my hope is that these three books, through my stories, through the way I interweave the Bible and scriptures in there, it helps them to understand that there are possibilities and that God does answer prayers and that you can knock, a door will be open, you will seek, and you will find it. But understand it doesn't happen overnight because you made a very good point, Cyrus. Stronger was 5 years ago, and I'm still knocking. I'm still
Mhm.
seeking. Doors are opening, and I'm finding where I need to be. I'm on a journey, and these three books help me to get there each day. And I know that they can do the same thing for someone else.
Love that. Toz, we're so good together. You know that?
Really.
I just I just have to say that. Because Taz didn't know where I was because I don't one thing anyone knows, I don't script the show, so no one gets questions ahead of time. They don't know any of that. Because honestly, I don't know what I'm gonna say either.
I
I
understand.
mean, I just go in and it flows. And this was perfect. What you just said is perfect. So I definitely invite our audience on the Amazon Live side. Make sure you guys pick up the books. I'm going to run through them again. You have the first book, which is Stronger. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back up here on my Kindle devices. I mentioned the Kindle is also on sale, guys. So if you guys do not have a Kindle, this is the Fire 7. It's $54.99. It's on sale right now. There you see the first book there. You see Stronger by Teresa A. Smith there. And then we have From Bravery to Victory. It seems like, oh, your review on that one, Todd. I thought I'd reviewed that one, but it doesn't show my review on here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on my tablet here. And I love the fact with this tablet, yes, we're talking about books here, but you guys can look at your YouTube, your favorite
Oh,
shows on this as well. So it works really well for that. But there's From Bravery to Victory. You guys see there. It's $3.99. And I have the print edition of Transformation. Don't know why I'm getting that funny light there though. But
it's
but
okay. Yeah, I'm
oh
trying to.
Todd, you know what? I know why I'm getting the funny light.
Why you get the funny light?
I'll tell you after. Well, no, I'll tell our audience too. I'll be transparent. I had a program earlier today where I was using my green screen and forgot to turn the green screen on. And cause I was trying to figure, why is he giving me that funny look? But it's trying to pick up for the green screen, and I didn't turn the green screen feature off. But here is our transformation. It's $2.99 for the Kindle edition. The print edition is $8.99. You all can see it there. Toss, how can I stay connected with you?
You can reach out to me. I'm Dr. Teresa Smith on Instagram. And you can find me on YouTube, Dr. TAS, TAS, and I've got all of the transformation series there. And between those two, you can't miss me. And I'm also Talk with Taz. I'm also Dr. Teresa A. Smith on Facebook, so you can find me.
All right. Just made it very easy for you guys to be able to find her again. There it is. I turned it off. Look, because I was trying to figure why is it giving me that funny look? But there is transformation. Yeah, that's what it should look like, right there. Right there. So make sure you guys get that one. Taz, I love you. Thank you so much for this very candid conversation. Again, you didn't know we were going to go in the directions that we did, but it was a really good segment. Definitely invite our audience. Make sure you guys get the books. Make sure you guys stay connected with Taz. She has a lot of great things that are coming up. And Taz, looking forward to our next conversation together.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Hey, thank you. And we thank you, our audience, green screen or not, for tuning into this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.